Hi everyone, it's Anastasia here. I have a little step-by-step tutorial with this layer to share. I'm using these absolutely gorgeous new Prima papers. I absolutely adore this collection. It is so beautiful. It is the Rosy Bell collection by Prima Marketing. There's beautiful colors in this collection. And I have a white cardstock which is 12 by 12. Then I cut the paper down so it has a 1/4 of an inch frame all around. And I inked the edges using my vintage photo distress ink. And I'm just figuring out where the photo is going to be, because I'm adding a bit of splatters using the Heidi Top Color Shine. I do believe this is the Primrose one. And then I don't like waiting, so I'm using a cloth to dry these off. And then I'm using a Lindy Stamp Gang one, and this is kind of a bronzy brown. And I really like to add these splatters just to add a little bit of interest and a bit of shine to the whole background. But they're not too dark, so they really don't take the attention away. Then I'm adding a tiny bit of white mist just to tone it down a little bit. Doesn't have much color in it, but it does give a little bit of shine, and then just leaves a very subtle hue of whiteness. You can't really see it in the video, but you can see it in real life. Now I just had to use a doily, and I'm just sticking it to the back of the photo because I want the lace to show. And this is a bit too much lace, but I figured out how to make that look better later on. Just a bit too wide, really. And just cut down another piece of paper to put behind the photo and ink in all the edges with the same ink. And then to add even more dimension, I'm using the Prima Distress tool. Love this tool, absolutely adore it. Just to make it a bit more grungy, vintagey, worn kind of a look. And I'm not being too gentle or anything like that. I'm just having a go at the paper. And then I inked it all again, because when you distress a paper it leaves a white edge, and I did not want that to show, so I just used the ink again to make them a bit more dark. Now this paper is one of the faves in the collection. It's got so many things you can cut out. It's just absolutely beautiful. And I chose these two, and I'm cutting these out, trying to keep the shape as irregular as it is in the on that paper. I just really like this. So easy to use as embellishments and for layers. It really do add a lot of texture to your page. And I also inked all of these using that same ink, so it kind of keeps them all in the same shape. And then I used the distress tool again, and this is not as much of a distress look, just a tiny little bit to make it look like it has been used or roughed a bit. Very subtle, but it does give it a bit of that little extra something. I'm just trying to figure out how I want this to look. And this is the ephemera pack, or the chipboard pack, I can't remember which one it's called. It has loads of chipboards in it, sequins and really cute metal embellishments. I'm just taking out the chipboards that I plan on using, plus the sequins, which I'll be using later on. And of course this Prima collection has loads of gorgeous flowers, absolutely beautiful. So I'm using that one, the rose, and then I wanted smaller flowers, sorry. I didn't have that in the collection, so I just grabbed my I Am Roses flowers and Wild Orchid flowers to add to the mix. And each and every one of those are getting a bit of the vintage ink treatment, so they all look a bit more alike. I'm just cutting the wires off the flowers so it's easier to stick them to the layout. So now let's get to the organizing. The paper did look a bit flat-ish, so I added a bit of mist to make it a bit more interesting. I do like that little bit of shine here and there. Now I'm just adding my photo to that thing, and that lace needed just a little bit of something, so I added a bit of ink on those as well. They didn't fit too well, they're like being completely white while everything else was a bit distressed, so it didn't look the part. And at this point I figured out, this is a bit too much lace, it's too wide really. So what I do is just rip it off and figure out where I want it instead. And this looks much better. Not much effort, but it looks much better. And now the foam adventure begins. I do love to pop up my pages, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Just making sure I use every last bit of the tape that I've actually cut down. And then just stick it to the paper. Things are starting to look better. Or like the idea in my head. I'm just sticking it down with a really strong adhesive. Almost did the wrong way around. This looks better. So just stick it down, and then I'm just adding those little touches. And I'm using that little piece that I cut out as the title, and it says sweet. I thought it was really fitting. There's a picture of my mom and my two girls just having a blast last September. It was actually taken near a town called Kirkjubæjarklaustur, which is very special to my mom. Well, to all of us really. So nice to have these 3 girls in one photo and in that very special place. I'm just figuring out where to stick these things down. And for some reason the glue is never really that good. I'm always afraid it might pop off the page, so I just added a bit of score tape to make sure that it is not going to be going anywhere when I start flipping the pages. And then just trying to figure out where the flowers look best. I do like my flowers, so I'll try to give them the best spot possible. And I'm using score tape to stick these down. That is really good when you stick these paper flowers to paper. It is really great to use score tape. But when I use them on a card, I usually go for the Ranger Glossy Accent. But when I'm next to a photo, in this case, I prefer the score tape, so they know it won't harm the photo in any way. I'm just putting things down here and there. You see, this score tape keeps sticking to my fingers instead of the paper. basically the longest part of the thing that takes most of my time when I'm doing a layout is basically where to put my flowers and the embellishments and stuff, because I don't want to ruin the whole idea I have in my head by putting the flowers in the wrong spot and being unhappy about it. And now that I got all the flowers in one spot, I am adding the date. And this is a roller stamp that I bought in London, I believe, what, 3 years ago? 3 years ago? And I really like it. It's a simple date stamp, and it absolutely, well, it's perfect. It fits everything I need it to do. Absolutely adore it. So glad I bought it. Now I'm adding a bit of bling to my page. And the embellishment pack from Prima has these beautiful sequins. The kind of bronzy brown, really pretty. And just by scattering them here and there, they do add a great deal to the layout. I really like using sequins on a layout. They're light and they can be used anywhere, anytime. And I do love a bit of sparkle bit. Now I actually sped this part up ×4 because it's only me adding a sequence all over the place using Ranger Multi Matte Medium. And that's just me sticking them anywhere. Nothing interesting happening, just adding sequence here and there. Although I wish I could be that fast in real life. That would be something. And now they're all done. All stuck where they're supposed to be. And now I'm adding a little bit of Wink of Stella to the flowers, both on the embellishment and the title, and I also added a bit on the flowers at the top. Now I'm really all done, quite happy with the result. All sparkly and colourful. And I hope you liked my little step by step. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.